Welcome back to Season 2 of Air and Air Out, ladies and folks. Episode 53. I hope you're buckled up for a fantastic new season of exciting episodes and exciting topics and exciting me, Aaron Brock, your host of Air and Air Out. Let's get right into it with that theme song.
When there's stuff on your mind and it's feeling unclear, just hop on the mic and speak without fear. Let's air out.
What's going on, ladies and folks? It's me, your boy, Aaron, the Brock, currently known as the host of Air and Air Out. Back with you. I know I took a little hiatus last week. I wish I had, I see the importance of like Twitter and social media and stuff because I don't really have a way to communicate with you guys when I'm taking a week off. I decided like after the 1 year podcast to give myself a little break, kind of, think things out, plan out what I want to do with the podcast, plan for this new season, and then, hit the ground running to this Monday, today, where the episode goes to me right now. And I just had no way to communicate that. I thought, should I just upload a YouTube video? Just be like, hey guys, no uploads this week. And then take it down when I do upload again. I don't know. So I do need to find a way to get better at that rather than just leaving it hanging in the air. Especially because we got a bunch of new subscribers after that acid trip episode. It got up to nearly 2K views, which talk about a damn dopamine rush. That every time I just kept opening that video and checking the views and just go up by 50 views every time I opened it, 50 to 100 views, and it just kept climbing and climbing. I was stoked about the 175 or whatever that I talked about on the podcast 2 weeks ago. And then over 10 days or whatever, it got up to 1,800 right now. So that was super exciting. I loved getting the notifications though. Seeing a little one notification of that bell on your YouTube app, way more exciting than even just seeing the views pop up. I think getting comments from people saying that they enjoyed it or talking about talking about acid and bringing something up from that episode. That was more exciting and engaging. Seeing people are actually not just watching it but enjoying it and wanting to talk about it. That was definitely the best part of it. And that also spurred me to want to make more videos, honestly. Just that knowing that rush you can get of when videos are doing well or better than you expected. So I did kind of start planning out a better schedule. And I think the plan right now is to get back to Monday podcast, Wednesday protein paints, and I guess what I decide, a Friday gaming video. So that's the idea that I hope to implement this week or next. So hopefully if you're subscribed to YouTube, you're going to see more videos popping up. You get to see my face more often, more content coming out from me. I've got also for these podcasts, I think you're going to see the format coming back in this episode too. I'm going to try and follow the same format we did with Ethan's episodes, where it's kind of intro, then specific topic that the podcast is going to focus on, and then outro. So this week's episode, we got Gator talk. We got Gator talk with Aaron. So I just I don't even know how I came along, and I was just reading Reddit and I saw a post that alligators can climb fences and trees. I was I did not know that about those crocodilians. I didn't know that. I had to be aware and start looking up in the air if I'm ever in a gator area, that there could be a gator just perched up on a tree like a cat, and then it could just dive bomb me, attack me. And then I wanted to look up more on gators because gators are my biggest fear, as I've said over and over again. So it's kind of got to confront your fears. You got to learn about gators. You got to see what's going on, and they kind of have an interesting history. There's not a ton, the fossil record on them is very low, so there's not a ton about them, and I pretty much only know gators from that Archer quote.
Oh, I have no reason to think that.
Why are you so scared of crocodiles?
Gee, I don't know, Cyril. Maybe deep down, I'm afraid of any apex predator that lived through the KT extinction. Physically unchanged for 100 million years because it's the perfect killing machine. A half-ton of cold-blooded fury with a bite force of 20,000 newtons and stomach acid so strong it can dissolve bones and hooves. And now we're surrounded. Those snake eyes are watching from the shadows, waiting for the night.
Waiting for the night!
damn it, Ray. Keep your voice down.
Why? Crocodiles don't have ears?
They absolutely have ears, shithead.
Well, so do I. And you just talked yourself out of a hat.
Cheesy pigs. Way to go, Ray. Now he's got a taste for...
Shoot it, shoot it, shoot it, shoot it!
I can't.
Sweet Jesus, God, then at least shoot out my eyes so I don't have to see!
And then that I'm scared of them. I don't even know how scared of them I am, but we'll get all into that, into the topic portion of the podcast. This is merely the intro. You guys haven't heard from me in like 2 weeks now. So what's been going on with Aaron? Let me think. What has been going on with Aaron? 2 weeks ago, we had Willie up, as I mentioned. That's what you guys are probably jonesing to hear what's going on with Big Willie. And we had a great weekend. We had a really good weekend. We spent the Friday night, we went to see another one of Ethan's bands perform, Jones and the Jack Pines. They're like a different kind of band than Tyler Fry and the Mile Highs. They are kind of an indie pop band, so a lot of indie hits, a lot of songs I'm like, I recognize this song, but I have no idea who the artist is and what the song is called, but I've definitely heard this song a ton of times. But the people were with, Chris and Andrea, they're like, I think Andrea knew every song. Chris was very similar, and then Will's knew more than me, but more in the same boat as I am. Like, this is a good song, but I don't know what it is. So that was a very cool performance. Cool venue too. Is like this brewery that they set up this little patio section just outside with a bunch of those. We were debating what they're called. I called them like Einstein bulbs. Will called them patio lanterns, but they're like the string bulbs, like the same shape as like a incandescent bulb, but probably not incandescent anymore because that's like super outdated. But yeah, that's all string around, and then like picnic table set up. They had a little barbecue grill set up, and they were selling like a little bits of food and cookies and stuff like that. Super cool spot, super quaint, very nice in a little neighborhood in Kitchener. It's TWB Brewing. I guess I could give them a little shout out since we're growing a big audience. I could kind of help out the community when I can. So yeah, that was super cool. That was the Friday night, and then the other 2 days were kind of like just hang with the boys, degenerate days, just get up to shenanigans. Hang out around the house, watch YouTube videos, play some games, stuff like that. So that's kind of the big highlight of the week end. And then what did I do last week? What did I get up to last week? Not a whole lot that I remember, honestly. Just a lot of work. Just a lot of still grinding away at the golf course. Still, putting my 12 days on, 2 days off in. I don't think anything really that special has happened. We had a barbecue, had some delicious pulled pork again. Other than that, yeah, nothing super special. I feel like I had thoughts about what I did this week, and there was something I wanted to talk about, but it is gone from my brain. And there's also a source of potential future news for Aaron Out. I know I've talked about how I'm going to bum it across Canada. That's my goal, to be homeless next year. Starting next spring, but having some talks with my mom. She's out in South Africa right now with my aunt, and she met a very interesting man that might have a very cool opportunity for me to do next year. So that's kind of taking the option A spot. I don't want to say it yet until there's some concrete progress in that direction. I don't want to I got a bad habit on this podcast, as of saying I'm going to do something, just never doing it. So once there's concrete progress, I will let you know of the new future plan, which is very exciting. It's going to be great for the channel. It's going to be great for me. I was very excited to travel across Canada. That's right. I was very excited to travel across Canada and kind of explore my country and see what's going on. I didn't really know, I don't know anything about Canada. I've been in Ontario my entire life. I went to Calgary when I was like 4 and don't remember it at all. I went to the East Coast on a family road trip years ago. And I remember that, but, a family trip and then just kind of having no itinerary and driving around is a very different experience. So, yeah, I was super stoked to do that. But honestly, it's like Canada's not going anywhere. My ability to travel around Canada isn't going to change. But this other opportunity is just more like timely and like this. I should do this now before I do the Canada thing. So, hopefully next week, I should have information for you guys. I'm still filling out the initial process to get it going. So once I get that done, I have to write a little essay, which I'm not looking forward to. But yeah, that should be some big news, and I think people will be excited for me. I think it's a very cool opportunity, and I think it's going to be excellent for my future. So hopefully I can share that with you guys very soon. What else do we got going on here? Like I said, Proton Paints is going to be coming back on Wednesday, hopefully. I've got a few ideas of things I want to paint. I don't know where I'm going to put these paintings. I think most of these paintings I'm just going to have to take back to Barrie with me, stick them in a box, and I don't know, maybe put them up in my room in Barrie and just decorate them that way. And I don't know where I'm going to put new paintings. Here, I just keep sticking them in my wall wherever they fit, even though, as you see in the camera, more and more are just dropping on me as I sleep, still terrifying me. And I guess I could get more pads. Really looking at this wall, though, I did not do a good job at sticking these things level. If you just look at where the pads are, they are not lined up. I tried to stick them on the corners of these paintings, and obviously either the painting was not straight or I was just not good at sticking them on the corners, but none of these are level. I don't think any of these paintings are level either, actually. I don't use a level. I'm just like, as long as they're on the wall, problem solved. So, yeah, excited to get back into painting. I got 2 or 3 ideas I want to paint. I got to get away from just the trying to think long and hard about what I want to paint, and just like if I spurn an idea, and this kind of goes into everything. If I think of an idea, just do it. And I got to translate that into like other aspects of my life, because I'm like sitting on the couch looking at my phone and I think, oh, I should do this. And then if I just like act on it immediately, even like basic, like I should put all my dishes away. I should put all my dishes in the dishwasher right now. But the longer I sit on that thought of I should do this, the more time passes, just the possibility of it getting done is just dropping down and down and down. I guess from your point of view on the camera, it'd be like this way. That's a more accurate XY graph. Yeah, just the longer I decide if I think I'm going to do something, and then if I just sit on it and don't do it longer and longer, at some point it's just like, it's never going to get done after like 20 minutes, I swear. So I'm trying to just like jump on things. Even like doing this podcast, I took a nap before this and I got out of bed and I just laid in bed for a bit. I don't know why I want to put off these podcasts so much. It's not like it's a hard work for me to record them. Editing them takes like more focus and then listening back to it and like, you know, knowing what to put in there and stuff. But like just recording, I just got to sit down and talk to myself for an hour pretending I'm talking to other people. So it's not like it's a hard topic, but just I build it up too big in my brain that it's such a task that I need to save my energy and really, you know, wait on it. So hopefully that gets better too. And then, you know, I've written out a schedule for myself, kind of accountability board-ish, accountability board light. Maybe I should be back to the accountability board though, honestly, because I stopped doing it because I'm like, this isn't working. I did it for like 4 or 5 months, and then I stopped doing it, and I'm like, well, this isn't working anymore. I stopped doing it, which is not an accountability board issue. It's a accountability Aaron issue. So yeah, just a quitter, trying to not be a quitter. But it's tough because I keep quitting and trying to not be a quitter because I'm a quitter. So hopefully that sorts itself out. But other than that, I really don't know what else I got going on my week that'd be super exciting for you guys. So yeah, quick little intro here, quick little 10-minute intro. Chatting with you guys. Happy to have you guys back. Happy to be back on season 2. And let's get into the real deal of this podcast. Actually, so I wrote down this podcast, like the podcast notes in a Word document. And when I opened Word, I guess it like default opened the last thing I had open that didn't save, like a recover document or whatever. And it was the podcast 39 notes. And now this podcast I just wrote is like 2.5 pages of like sentences and paragraphs of like research I did for this topic. And it just goes back to seeing podcast 39. My preparation for the podcast is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 just jot points. Podcast 39. Podcast audience. Weird mixture. Who do I name? Uneventful week. Or I guess this was before actually I did the consent forms. I guess episode 40 was the first consent forms. Uneventful week. Arby's. Terrible golf. Uber Eats lazy. Smoking too much. Productive morning. Am I the weird older guy at work or the cool older guy? Using weed to cure my anxiety. And finally, piss in face story if needed. And I think you guys know it was needed. It was needed because that story is out there. The old piss in face story. So if you're a new listener and you're like, well, what's some good episodes of Air and Air Out? Podcast 39's got those topics right there, including the piss and face story at the very end. A little golden shower for your boy on his birthday. So check that episode out if you're new here. And also thank you to all the new listeners. If you are a new listener, maybe shout yourself out in the comments. Let me know if any of you guys stuck around from that acid trip episode, because I do not talk about acid in every episode. It's been a recurring theme for like 4, maybe 5 episodes, but it doesn't pop up all the time. But I did think about it. I should kind of do like maybe a history of LSD would be a cool little episode. We did kind of get that from that documentary, How to Change Your Mind, that we watched months ago, but it'll be cool to kind of research myself and look into it. But I've got a few topics already lined up for future episodes that I hope to get through first. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But other than that, yeah, that's enough for this intro, me rambling around. Let's get into the real deal, the dive into my fears, the history of gators. We'll see you soon. Musical interlude. All right, so as long as I can know, whenever people ask me what my biggest fear is, I've always said alligators or crocodiles, same thing. They're a terrifying animal. They're dinosaurs. They're killing machines. They lurk in the water. You can't really see them when they're in the water. They just look like logs. They're going to grab you and pull you under. They're on golf courses. They're in pools. They're in like all the things I enjoy. There's a gator potentially in that area. So I want to kind of get more research on the gators. As I said, I saw a Reddit post that gators can climb trees, and that kind of freaked me out. And I was like, what else do gators do that I don't know about? You got to know your enemy. Keep your friends close, but your alligators closer. So I did some research, and by research, I mean I just Googled history of gators, opened up the top 5 tabs, and then just took notes off those top 5. And then if I ever came across something in those tabs that I thought was a little extra interesting, I did some extra research on that. But as I said, I'm no scientist, even though I have a degree and did work as a scientist. I'm not a thorough researcher. I hate doing research. I tried to read like some professional sources on this material, and it's all science gobbledygook, and I hate it. Like, I don't understand. I found a cool fact about gators, and I wanted to research it more, and I just could not find a layman's term. Or if it was layman's term, it was way too short of them just like reiterating the headline. So anyways, let's just get into it. So American alligators are large crocodilians found only in the U.S. They grow up to 12 feet and can weigh upwards of 1,000 pounds, with males being slightly larger than females. Their large tail and webbed feet provide them the mobility they need to traverse marine environments. Not much else to say about that little tidbit there. Just a little introduction if you don't know what an alligator or a crocodile is. 1,000 pounds, so that's a hefty... I don't even know. I think like gorillas only get up to like 600 pounds. So the fact that a gator can be 1,000 pounds. I also should have looked up to if that rumor. I don't think they can actually grow indefinitely. I think that's like a thing that like an old wives' tale that goes around, that like they're not actually, their cells never stop dividing or something, and they just are only limited by like the food source and their environment that can support them, so it'll just like grow indefinitely. And I think that's where like those ideas for like those Lake Placid movies came from, with the giant gators. If it's just like no competition in the gators area, it's just going to grow and grow and grow until it's massive, and it's 10,000 pounds. But let's move on. So they are cold-blooded, meaning they are immune to UAVs and predator missiles. They are cold-blooded, meaning they require the natural world to provide them heat. This causes them to often be seen basking in the sun or digging holes in mud to trap heat. They've also been known to dig tunnels 20 meters long to beat long periods of heat or cold. I didn't know that either. I didn't know they could dig, like, there's just an underground network of alligators below you at any possible time. If you're, like, I'm not worried about, like, here. I'm not worried about Westmount walking across the 3 Green and be like, there could be a gator tunnel down here. You're going to pop out of the cup when I stick my hand in there. Did not know they were diggers, though. That's a dangerous sentence you could say right there, but you hear the D. Digging holes in mud and, yeah, digging long tunnels. Cold-blooded's an interesting thing. Imagine, like, the sun's the only way you can heat yourself up and you just have to go outside. I'd be frigid all the time, so I'm not going outside. I guess we have blankets here. Gators need blankets. Blankets for gators. That's going to be the first charity function of Aaron the Brock. We're going to raise money to get some quilts made for alligators. If you want to start contributing, start your knitting now. We'll get the auction process up and going. But yeah, that is 20 meters. That's not super long, actually. If the gators can go up to 12 feet, someone do that math. I don't want to do it right now. 12 feet and it's 20 meter long. It's not that many gator. It's not a big gator length. But it also didn't say how deep they are. I don't know how, because gators are flat, so I feel like it would be hard for them. They'd have to have like a pretty slow grade, because if they can't like just bend straight down 90 and then go out. It'd have to be like a, you know what I'm saying? Like a little handicap accessible ramp into the gator tunnel, and then they can dig back out. They are carnivores, if you didn't know that. They eat fish, invertebrates, frogs, birds, mammals. I swear we're gonna get some more. Like, this is just like the intro to gators. We're gonna get into more like things you probably don't know at some point. They hunt predominantly at night, and if large prey is caught, they will drag them underwater to drown. I should not put this on the fire monitor. Sorry, again. They are carnivores. They eat fish. I already read that. Oh boy, Aaron, you're floundering here. They hunt predominantly at night, and if large prey is caught, they will drag them underwater to drown them before consuming them. They have a special adaptation most amphibians have called a glottis in their throat, glottis, to allow them to eat while underwater. So I had to look up what a glottis is because that's where they drew the line. The glottis is a slit-like opening that controls the airflow in and out of the respiratory system. So essentially, they can just like close off the air going to their lungs if they're underwater and can just muck all the way. It's kind of like like a one-way valve. And then they don't have to worry about water getting to their lungs and all that while they're eating downstairs. Humans also have a glottis. However, it's the opening between vocal cords and is critical in producing vowels and voiced consonants in speech. So whereas gators use it to eat elk, we use it to say obliterate. We're both obliterating, just in different ways. So yeah, maybe that's the first thing you learn, the glottis. You can now bring that to your dinner table conversations. The cousin of the American alligator, the American crocodile. This is more focused on the alligators, by the way. I didn't realize there was such a big difference between alligators and crocodiles. I thought like they look pretty similar, so they're probably gonna have the same history. Not entirely true. American crocodile can also be found in the United States, though in much smaller numbers. There are only a few thousand crocodiles in America residing on the southern tip of Florida. So, if your biggest fear is crocodiles and not alligators, just avoid Florida, and you're fine. I always kind of use them interchangeably, but yeah, I didn't know that just crocodiles are found in Florida, and gators are kind of found in much more, kind of all around those southern states. They don't move too far north, because like I said, they're cold-blooded. They do not like the cold, because they already got the cold thing sorted out. And now we get into the real history. The real history. No, we don't. I lied. What's the difference between an alligator and a crocodile? You might be asking yourself. How do I know if I'm out in the wild and I encounter? I don't want to misidentify that animal that's chasing me. That'd be rude. That hurts feelings. So to differentiate between alligators and crocodiles, check their mouths. Alligators have a wide and round snout, while crocodiles have a long and thin snout. Crocodiles will also have two large teeth protruding when their mouths are closed. So yeah, alligators, I think their entire bottom teeth show when they close their mouth, either bottom teeth or top teeth. You can see a bunch of teeth, whereas crocodiles, you just see the two front fangs sticking down out of their bottom lip. And then like their noses, yeah. Alligators are the wide and round ones, whereas crocodiles are long and thin. Long and thin, short and thick. There you go. Now you can identify between alligators and crocodiles. So, let's get into the history of alligators and crocodiles. Where did they come from? Where did they go? Where did they come from? Cotton Eye Joe. All 4 American species of alligator, but I can only find 2. I don't know where this article I read, I don't know where the 4 American species of alligators are. There are like Mississippian alligators and like Louisianan alligators, and like based on like state-wise they have different names, but I don't know if they're necessarily a different species. The only 2 species of alligator I could find are the American alligator and the Chinese alligator. But I guess if there potentially is 4 American species of alligator, but I don't think so. But all of them were linked back to the Nile crocodiles based on genome sequencing. So alligators, just like us, originated in Africa. Based on this relationship, it is presumed that Nile crocodiles swam across the Atlantic Ocean after Africa had separated from North America. The journey would have taken months, but crocodiles are able to go 6 months without food, and females can carry sperm for months after insemination, allowing them to lay eggs upon arrival. So the theory is that a bunch of lady crocodiles got banged in Africa and then like didn't appreciate their husbands. So they, in the middle of the night, they left with their babies, swam across the ocean and came to Florida or whatever and laid their eggs. But I didn't know they could swim that far. That's a crazy amount. Again, like not knowing they could go on trees. Now I'd know that like Nile crocodiles could swim to my front door. Because like if they can swim across the ocean, they could easily walk from the East Coast into Ontario. Like that's nothing compared to them. They could probably dig a tunnel all the way to my house. You never know. Crocodiles have been tracked on long journeys, and it's found that they utilize ocean currents to conserve energy and travel quicker. So when there's less favorable currents, they will hide in a bay and wait until the tide changes and they can restart their journey. So they did track a bunch of crocodiles moving like hundreds of kilometers. I think they had crocodiles move like 500 kilometers in 26 days just because they like ride the currents, let the waves carry them. And then when the waves are going the opposite direction, there's not enough waves at all. They just kind of chill and like hang out. And then what was that other? Crocs always began their long journey within an hour of the tides changing. So like they're aware. I don't know if it's just like a visual or just like a thing they know that they can tell when the tides are high or low. But they always waited, and as soon as the tides were high enough, they got back in the water and swam. So yeah, they were tracking crocodiles, like traveling through rivers and trying to figure out how all these different crocodiles have been found on many landlocked islands. But like each they have alligators on all these different islands that are, surrounded by water. However, all the alligators are crocodiles or whatever. I think we're talking about crocodiles in this space. It's going to get very, very confusing switching between the two. But all the crocodiles on all these different islands were like extremely similar, and they're like thrown off how, this same species of alligator was so dispersed across all these Pacific islands. And it's just because they just swam there, and then they found like the native crocodile, ladies there or men, and they hooked up, and then like their genes stayed pretty similar. Yeah, that's crocodiles. They're kind of doing what I did. They're gonna bum it across the country. Not at all what I did. I haven't done it yet, but yeah, they're just bumming it around the world and going wherever they want to go, wherever the current takes them. I'm trying to look at a map right now, seeing what islands they would have been. I guess like do the Caribbean islands have gators? I don't think so. So I don't know what. I guess, yeah, we're talking about the Nile. So the Nile is up there in Egypt. And then I don't know what islands they're talking about. Madagascar? I don't know. Again, someone probably should have researched that, but that's the deal. They swim a long time is the gist I was getting to, and they swam from Africa over here, and that's how they got to North America. I think some other theories were they crossed the Bering Strait like years ago when that was like a frozen connected piece of land, but I don't know. I didn't know crocodiles were so active in the winter. I thought it'd be too cold for them and they just like freeze up. Ever seen those frogs that they put in the freezer and then like reanimate them? Maybe that's what happened. They just like they cross a little bit, they freeze, then they unfreeze, walk across the land, rinse and repeat. Who knows though? No one. So recently there's been digging in the Panama Canal that has begun to unearth a history of crocodilians. That is the family that alligators are part of. That was not complete prior to the excavation. Initially, researchers only had a sparse collection of fossils to paint a better picture of the croc history. In North America, fossils found dating back 70 million years revealed a common ancestor between alligators and caimans. Caimans are not the Nile crocodiles. Caimans are South American crocodiles. So we got American alligators, we got Nile crocodiles, we now have got caimans, South American alligators. So caimans and alligators are separate from crocodiles. Paleontologists hypothesized that an alligator ancestor left North America and crossed into Central America before evolving into the caimans in South America. Fossil evidence to prove this theory has eluded researchers in the past, though. Yeah, so I guess the path was Nile crocodiles swim across the ocean to North America. The North American alligators, then still not settled with their new home they found, start going south down towards South America. And that's, I guess the crocodiles came across, became alligators. Then the alligators started going down and became caimans. Circle of life. New fossils found in the Panama Canal were dated to 19.83 and 19.12 million years ago based on the rocks they were found in. This time frame has little knowledge about the existence of caimans. These fossils were compared to previously collected fossils of the past and present to conclude that these skulls belong to the most primitive caimans after the lineage split from alligators. So 70 million years ago, they found gators in North America. About 20 million years ago, they found this new like hybrid alligator that is not the same as the American alligator up top, and it's not the same as the caiman alligator down below. So there's been like an evolutionary shift during their journey down from North America down into the South Americas. An interesting discovery was in the jaw of these newly found caiman fossils. Alligators and caimans have distinct jaw features due to their altering diets, yet these skulls were found to be a combination of the two. This evidence allowed the researchers to discern that caimans began to evolve in Central America rather than not evolving until they reached South America. So yeah, it wasn't just like they didn't just walk down and then become caimans when they got to South America. It was a process like over time as they were traveling down, which is interesting. I guess they're finding new food to eat and new habitats, so they're just like adapting as they go. It also means there's probably a very long journey for them, if like, because it's not like 2 weeks, it's now a different crocodile, you know, just because it ate different birds. It would have been like millions of years to make this trek, I guess, you know, slowly but surely moving their civilization downwards. And honestly, that's pretty much all I had written down for the history of alligators. It wasn't a ton, you know, just like a quick 15 minutes on the history of alligators. But I do have more alligator stuff. But that's pretty much what we know. There's not a ton of fossil records. There's like big blank spots that they don't really know what's going on with the alligators and crocodiles. There's also a big report that had a bunch of fancy words in it that I'm sure has more information that I just could not understand and clicked away very quickly after reading the abstract. So if you're not interested in the history of alligators, really, but I think I covered it. Nile crocodiles across the Atlantic to become American alligators, down south to Central America where they become caimans, and then further, or I guess they become this hybrid of American alligators and caimans, and then south even further where they became caimans. That's the history of alligators right there. Check and mate. But I did also write down some fun facts for alligators, which is going to be the most entertaining portion of this podcast. Alligators, how many teeth do they have? Guess right now how many teeth are in an alligator's mouth. If you guess between 78 and 80, why would they even say 78 and 80? Like I feel like just say 80 or 78. Alligators have 78 between 78 and 80 teeth and continuously lose them throughout their lives. Okay, so they're losing their teeth throughout their life. Maybe you got the first guess wrong and didn't guess 78 to 80. Here's another guess. They can go through blank teeth in a lifetime. How many teeth are falling out and growing back in? Dun 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 dun. 3,000. Did you guess it right? Let me know in the comment section down below. Yeah, they can. Tons of tooth fairy money for alligators, man. They're just popping out all the time. 3,000 teeth in a lifetime. How long do they live for? I wish I looked that up so I could kind of see how many the teeth per year. The TPY. When was the last time you guys lost a tooth? I have lots of dreams about losing my teeth, and then I wake up and my teeth are fine. But I don't even know the last time I lost a tooth. Like when I was 15 or something? I don't know. Is that too late too? Should I not be losing teeth at 15? Maybe like 12? I don't know. Don't remember the last time. I remember I lost a tooth eating tacos once. Just got a hard shell taco right in the crook of it and just popped it right out. Yeah, you know what the worst part is? When your tooth is like loose and like it's not like loose enough to pull it out, but you're just like wiggling it, and then there's just that little strand of gum hanging onto it, and you just give it that rip off finally, and then you got that hole in your mouth. I always hated that hole in your mouth. I didn't like that feeling, like being able to stick my tongue through there. It felt weird. And it felt like there was now a structural integrity on the other two teeth on either side because they wouldn't have like the support. We lost a load-bearing column there when the tooth fell out. But let's go back to alligators. Not me. Alligators have been seen to use tools to lure birds. Reading is so much harder out loud than just talking. They've been seen to use tools to lure birds. Lure birds. That's a tough alliteration. Not an alliteration. By balancing sticks and branches on their heads. So I didn't know they were that smart either. I didn't know. Or birds are just that dumb to think an alligator's a tree, you know? It's one of the two options. Either alligators are really smart or birds are really dumb. Which, I'm leaning towards birds are dumb. I don't want to give my enemy like the credit. Or maybe you do gotta respect your enemies. Maybe I should say, yeah, they're really smart. Gators are really smart, but I'm not gonna fall for that. No way. I'm not gonna fall for a balancing stick or a branch. I know their secret now, so it's not gonna work on me. Alligators help with ecosystem sustainability by digging alligator holes. Remember we talked about this in the history section. They dig their holes to help them warm up in the mud. These are small ponds dug by alligators that retain water during the dry season and provide habitat for other animals. So they are terraforming the earth that they live in by digging their little mud baths. Then those, I guess, it probably digs it down into like the groundwater level. So they're just like permanently wet rather than just surface water that would dry up in the drier seasons. Alligator moms are great. They build a nest out of various vegetation and mud, and as it decays, it heats up and keeps the eggs warm. She stays near the nest for 65 days, and when they're ready to hatch, the babies will emit a high-pitched squeal to inform the mother. She will then dig them out and carry them to water. Did I say how many eggs they... No, let's say how many eggs they lay in the next one. Yeah, alligator moms. The real moms of the animal world. That isn't 65 days is not a super long time. I don't know. I wonder how long the eggs. I guess yeah. We already said the sperm can stay in them for like up to 6 months. So that's a pretty low gestation period. I wonder if they get to choose when that sperm becomes an egg though. Just because they can hold it for a long time, does that mean like it just like they're inseminated for a long time, or are they literally choosing like I don't want to lay eggs yet? Like they're just holding in a poop the entire time, and then finally when they get where they want to go, they like let it out. Is that how it's working? And the babies just scream at their mom inside the egg, and then she has to like, I guess their eggs are buried underground, and then she has to like listen. So you gotta hope your mom has good hearing, or else you're just gonna be screaming underground, and that's your entire life is just being buried underground, and mom lost you. Or if like a mom died out there, you're just gonna die in a coffin. Just already. I wonder if there's like fossilized gator eggs then that just were never undug up would be burying. Were never dug up. That'd be interesting to see. Alligators lay up to 90 eggs at a time. 90. The temperature of the egg determines the sex. Maybe you didn't know that. So temperatures above 34 Celsius or 93 Fahrenheit become males, while those at 30 Celsius or 86 Fahrenheit become females. The intermediary temperatures between 30 and 34 can be either. That's very interesting. Very interesting. Could you imagine if that's like how humans worked? And like if you want a girl, you're just like covering your wife in blankets. Whereas if you want a boy, you gotta make sure your wife's really hot. Keep her temperature up there. Whereas if you want a female, give her nothing. Let her out in the cold. Make her shovel the driveway. Make her walk the dog in the rain. You can guarantee the sex you want. I wonder if that does work in human size. Anyone ever tried that? Any parents out there, let me know. How many blankets did your wife use when it was? Are there more males in hotter environments, and then are there more females in colder environments? Is that a statistical fact? Can someone look that up for me, please and thank you? Alligators are very vocal. Not only smart, they're great mothers, they're also vocal. They have no vocal cords, but by sucking air into the lungs and then releasing it in intermittent roars, they can signal distress, threats, find mates, and declare territory. They can also growl, hiss, and make a cough-like sound called a chumph. That's CHUMPF, a chumph. Which is also like just a great word. I'm glad I learned. I think I'm gonna look up chumph and see if I can play an audio clip for you guys right now.
It'll probably feed them.
And if you didn't hear it, maybe it was just me, trying to. I'll do my best impression of what I think a chumph is, and then you can pretty much know. So yeah, alligators can talk. They make lots of noises, kind of like I guess like dogs. The dogs of the water, just giant dinosaur killing dogs. And that was it for the fun facts. We are really actually cooking through all these facts, and I realized my outro is gonna have to be pretty long to hit our time limit, or we can just make it a shorter episode. That's always fine too. The final thing I want to talk about, a little old wives' tale. Talk about sewer alligators. This is honestly, this is probably why I'm scared of alligators. So I remember being in like first or second grade, and my friend Luke told me this story about a dude that had an alligator in his toilet, and then when he went to poop, the gator like bit his male parts off, and because he didn't check the toilet, and there's a gator down there, and just snapped it right off. And for years after, I'm talking like 10 years after, I was scared to go poo. I would always I would hover and just repeatedly check, and if I heard a noise outside, I'd sit up and check in the toilet just to make sure nothing's creeping up on me, because that's my biggest fear. Maybe that is my biggest fear, is not alligators, it's alligators getting me in my weakest moment when I'm pooping. And because they probably don't like being pooped on, so it's probably not a sign of aggression. It's more like, hey man, you're pooping on me. I'd bite people too, honestly. If someone just came to my house, shit on my face, I'm throwing hands. So I can't really blame the gators. But yeah, for too long I was scared of alligators and snakes being in my toilet, and just had to constantly check to clear clear the situation, make sure I'm okay. So my poos would take longer because I'm always sitting up and checking down there. So let's find out. Let's get to the bottom of the sewer alligator story. Sewer gator stories date back to the late 1920s and early 1930s. They are based on alligator sightings in unorthodox places, primarily New York City. The stories originate from the middle of the 20th century, where souvenir shops in Florida would sell baby alligators to tourists. That's just awful, honestly. Like, you think getting a goldfish at the fair is pretty miserable for the fish. How about gators in the tourist shop? Tourists from New York would take these pets and try to raise them back home. When they grew too large, they were flushed down the toilet to fend for themselves. So that's the idea. Is a bunch of New York City tourists went to Florida and saw a cute little baby alligator that they wanted to take home. They took the alligator home and then realized, oh shit, this thing keeps growing. And the thing is, when they grew too large, they were flushed down the toilet. But I feel like if they grew too large, how are they still like this right size to get down the toilet hole? That's where there's some like flaw. I feel like a baby alligator could get down the toilet, but that toilet hole is pretty small. So if like that size is too big for you, why did you take the baby alligator in the first place? I could get it if it's like now 3 feet long and it's like, okay, this thing's too big and it's gonna grow up to 12 feet. Makes sense. But you're not selling me on it. A man named Robert Daly wrote a book called The World Beneath the City in 1959, detailing more stories of the sewer gators. The book features a chapter called Alligators in the Sewer, where Daly interviewed Teddy May, who had been commissioner of the sewers in New York for 30 years. The sewer commissioner, that's a cool-ass title. Based on May's account, sewer inspectors started seeing gators back in 1953, but no one, including May, believed them. Instead, he had men watch the sewer inspectors to see how they were smuggling whiskey down there, because he thought they were just drunk and crazy. After persistent sightings and newspaper articles, May was finally convinced to go down himself. He was surprised to find that the beam of his flashlight revealed alligators of up to 2 feet in size. He then started an extermination campaign using poison bait followed by flooding the tunnels to push the gators into a group of armed men. So just a firing squad raiding at the outro gate of the sewer, ready to pop some sewer gators. He announced in 1937, so 2 years after the sewer inspectors claimed they were seeing gators down there, that the gators were gone. May claims baby alligators were dumped down the storm drain rather than flushed down the toilet. And now, that makes more sense. The flushing down the toilet thing didn't make sense, and now Teddy May is making it much more believable. So, who are you going to believe? Are you going to believe Teddy May? Or are you going to believe... Well, I guess I didn't really enlist any other, point. The final thing I have written here is the city rescues about 100 gators per year as illegal pets, and some from outside that wandered into the city. Though some may escape, any long-term survival in the sewers is not likely due to low temperatures and the high bacteria count of human feces. So it's just too disgusting for gators to live down there and grow to any decent size. But like May said, they only grew up to 2 feet in size, which is like 1/6 of their total potential size. So it does seem like pretty possible that they were seeing baby alligators down there just growing up. I don't put it past people to dump animals down storm drains that they just don't want to deal with anymore. How many people drive dogs out to fields and just let them go, or just toss cats in a bag and toss them in a river? People are terrible, and people don't really care about animals. So it makes sense people would be so loosey goosey with where they're disposing of their baby alligators that they got from Florida. What they say is they're not true. They're not saying there's not a population of sewer alligators living in New York City. You don't have to worry about going down there, and I don't know why you'd go down there. But we played in storm drains as a kid. You guys ever played in storm drains? There's one big one by a tobogganing hill. We call it Secret Mountain. And I remember my friends Quinn and Ryan were going in there, and Ryan was at the edge, kind of looking in, and then Quinn pushed him, and Ryan banged his head off the top of the concrete sewer. And then Ryan's like, "Wow, thanks for that, Aaron." I'm like, "It wasn't me." And then the two of them went in. I only went in 15 feet or so. I did not want to be in there. I was worried about gators and snakes and homeless people living in there, or just not seeing a steep drop off and just falling deeper into the sewer. But I think Ryan and Quinn went in pretty deep. It's not for me. My mom was very proud of me for not making that step, so it's a +1 in my books. So I don't think there's a consistent army of alligators down the sewer. I don't think you have to worry about it. But there's definitely, I would definitely say there's been instances. I don't know how much of Teddy May, I don't know, like if it might be a very like fantasized story he created. 'Cause, like, I mean, who's really knows the commissioner of the sewers? You know, he's finally got a platform to be somebody. So he makes up this whole campaign that he's been in the sewers hunting alligators and poisoning them, and then, you know, leading them into a cavalry of men waiting for the gators to swim out. I don't know how much I buy that whole story, but I wouldn't like doubt it if they saw like 1 or 2 gators down there at some point, you know. And as for that's my entire research on alligators. That's honestly, reading it back, I thought I had more. Like the history stuff was hard to research, so hopefully that's at least the basic of what you got. You kind of know where gators and crocodiles come from. You now know the difference between gators and crocodiles. You know what a glotis is. You know, crocodiles are only found in the southern tip of Florida. Not even all of Florida, just the southern tip of Florida, which I wonder why. Is that a less populated area of Florida, and like they can't move up any further because of like human intervention? I don't know what the reason behind that is. I don't think the climate would change or like the environment would change too drastically between southern Florida and northern Florida, but who knows? It's not even a full degree of latitude. Oh, it definitely is a full degree of latitude. It's not a full block of latitude, as I should say. Yeah, they lay 90 eggs. Temperature determined by sex. So you guys got a lot of good information on gators here from this. So I'm happy with this. I think the next topic we have is going to be more interesting, I hope. More fun, at least. I think I have more fun with it. Just the straight animal facts is tough to filter in some jokes and make it comedic and make it fun. But also, I think this is easier when I had Ethan there to bounce off of. So we're definitely going to get him in for another episode before I'm out of this house in just 2 months. Jeez. But here, let's wrap up this. That's been Dive Into Your Fears, a talk about gators. And now we're going to get to the outro of the podcast. So thanks for listening, guys, and we'll see you very soon. Musical interlude. All right, so we are back after a very factual reading of the history of alligators and some alligator facts and some sewer gators. Hopefully you guys took something away from that. As I was just saying, yeah, I think I've got 2 more episodes I've researched, like researchable episodes that I want to put together and come out. And I got now at least I know that 2.5 pages gives me about half an hour of speaking. So if I want more than that, I'm going to have to just pop it up like 3.5 pages, which is no problem. I could always, that was like 2 hours of research. I can always just do more. That's not too bad at all. But yeah, I think the next 2 topics I have are more fun. Maybe you're not interested in amphibians and the gator thing didn't do it for you. Maybe you didn't get this far. And you're like, wow, I liked when this guy talked about acid and like this guy talked about alligators. But you can't please them all. So yeah, that's about all I got for this episode. Honestly, I don't even know what these outros are gonna be, because like I say, all my plans for the week and all my plans for like the future and like what I've been up to in the intro. So I didn't really leave myself anything to kind of segue out of the outro into what else. What do I got going on today right after this podcast? Well, it is 2:43. I'm heading to the golf course at 3, playing some golf at Westmount with a couple of new guys. And then what I got after that? Then I'm going to Chris and Andrea's. We've been doing board game night on Sunday nights. Though tonight, since I'm gonna be golfing till like sundown, like 7:30 or 8, we're just gonna do dinner and Game of Thrones. And I think I'm crashing a little sleepover at Chris's house. They got a guest bed now, a little queen size bed, which is actually better than my bed here. So when Chris is like, "Hey, do you want to stay over tonight? We can like smoke some joints." And I'm like, "Okay, hell yeah!" But I'm more in for it for the bed than I am the smoking joints. Like the smoking joints is great, but this is exciting stuff. So yes, a little sleepover with Chris and Andrea. And then another week at work, and this is actually Sunday. I have recorded the episode beforehand, so hopefully tomorrow. I don't have time to edit this right now, but hopefully tomorrow I can get this edited and up in a good time, like on everything, on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple, on Google. Well, if it's on Spotify and Apple, Google, that's all one process. But yeah, hopefully I can kind of stick to a better schedule and get more consistent at things. I'm getting better at utilizing my time. I also realize that I say yes to too many things. That's years ago, I used to always complain that I never got invited to stuff, and like I had nothing to do, no one to really hang out with. And I think now that has changed my mindset. Now I just keep agreeing to do things, and then I get to a point where I'm like, man, I had this weekend, like kind of looking forward to a nice relaxing weekend off, and I've agreed to like 6 different things to all just occupy all my time. And like, I wanted to edit a bunch of like videos this weekend, and I didn't get to it. I didn't have time, and honestly, I'm not gonna lie, part of it is because the Call of Duty beta came out, and I played that with Will for like 6 hours yesterday. It was a lot of fun, and I think that game's gonna be a lot of fun when I'm not working anymore, but I can't. It's also $90, and I do not have $90 to throw at a Call of Duty game. I'm gonna play like 2 or 3 nights a week, so I think I'm gonna have to hold off on buying that. I'm gonna finish the In Sound Mind gameplay. I committed, because I really want to play the Outbound Ghost on like a gameplay video, but I can't just leave In Sound Mind unfinished. Like, it's a blight on my channel. So I have to, even though Resident Evil, I didn't record the final episode because it glitched out because of my fault, but I just can't. It's like finishing a book. I can't not finish a book I started reading. So yeah, In Sound Mind we get finished first. I don't think it's that long of a game, so I can probably get it done in a few recording sessions, and then just like upload it over time, and then get the Outbound Ghost recording getting going, and get back into the groove of making more videos than just these podcasts. So yeah, that'll be a lot of fun, getting back to painting, getting back to gaming. That sketch, I'm still chipping away at it. I know I've said it was going to come out on the 2-year anniversary. Now it's 2 weeks after that, and I just it's tough. Like I said, but I'm committed to it. I'm gonna get it out. It's really funny. It's gonna be great when it comes out, so I'm excited for you guys to see it. We've got a bigger audience now, grown to 60 subscribers, and then we just lost one, which is fair because I didn't upload anything in 2 weeks. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to YouTube, looking forward to getting back onto doing things, and looking forward to making more content for you guys. So thanks for listening. Hope you have a great day, and Aaron out.
Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed your stay. Now take what you learned and have a great day. Damn, it feels good to air out.